The mini BEST test has 4 items. The first 3 items have 3 tests each, while the 4th item has 5 tests. Total, there are 14 tests. Each test has the same scoring system. A patient can score a 0, a 1, or a 2 on each test. A score of 2 means that the patient scored normal. If a patient uses an assistive device, the highest they can score is a 1. If the patient scores a 0, that means that the patient has severe impairments. The total score can range from 0 to 28. A score of 0 means that the patient has several impairments, and a score of 28 means that the patient has no impairments. This mini BEST test measures dynamic balance, functional mobility, and gait. It is commonly used in populations who have or have had multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, strokes, spinal cord injury, or cancer. I want you to cross your arms, and I'm going to have you stand up, okay? And go. Alright, so I would take note of how many times it took him to try to stand up, and then I would note if he used the back of his legs on the chair, and I would also note if he needed any assistance. Okay, focus on the projector in front of you and go ahead and rise up on your toes. Okay. I would give the patient 2 attempts and I would record the best attempt. If I suspected that the patient was not rising as high as they could, then I would come around to the front and ask them to go ahead and hold my hands and try to rise up. If I had another physical therapist or a tech with me, then I would have them guard while I moved around to the front of the patient. I'm going to have the patient stand on one leg for a maximum of 30 seconds with their hands on their hips. I'm going to give the patient 2 attempts. I'm going to keep the best time. If the patient takes their hands off their hips or puts their foot on the floor, then I'm going to stop the timer. Okay. I'm going to have you focus your attention on the skull in front of you. Go ahead and put your hands on your hips. Whenever you're ready, stand on one foot. I should have been guarding this patient at the beginning of the video clip as well. Okay. I'm going to place my hands on your shoulders, and I'm going to step out of the way a little bit. I want you to lean forward into my hands. Good. I'm going to place my hands on your shoulder blades. I want you to lean back into my hands. Good. Okay. I want you to go ahead and cross your arms. I'm going to put my hand here on your hip, and I want you to lean into my hand. When performing all 3 of the reactive postural control tests, it would have been best to have a second physical therapist or tech guarding. For the reactive postural control tests and the single leg stance test, I would have the patient perform these on both sides. Then I would take the worst side and score that side. Okay, in a second, I'm going to have you put your feet together and your hands on your hips, and I'm going to have you stand in one spot with your eyes open let's aim for 30 seconds, okay? Alright, go ahead and put your feet together, put your hands on your hips, keep your eyes open, and I'm going to start the timer. Okay, in a moment I'm going to have you step up on the phone pad. I'm going to have you put your feet together, and I'm going to have you close your eyes. When you close your eyes, I'm going to start a timer for 30 seconds, okay? I'm also going to have you put your hands on your hips. Alright, so go ahead and I'll help you step up on the phone. Put your feet together, hands on your hips for me. Go ahead and close your eyes, and I'm starting the timer. I'm going to have you step up here on this slope. Good. Go ahead and put your feet together. Put your hands on your hips. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Hold this position for as long as you can, okay? Okay, I'm going to have you start out walking your normal pace. When I say fast, I want you to walk faster. And when I say slow, I want you to slow down and walk. Keep walking, okay? All right, and start walking at your normal pace. Fast. Slow. I'm going to have you walk at your normal pace. When I say head right, I want you to turn and look to the right. And when I say head left, I want you to turn and look to the left, okay? All right, so go ahead and start walking at your normal pace. Head right, head left, head right, head left. I'm going to have you walk at your normal pace again. Then I'm going to say turn and stop. And I want you to turn and stop like this. Okay? And walk at your normal pace. Turn and stop. Another way we learn to guard in class is to stand in front of the patient, have them walk towards you as you walk backwards. When they turn around, you will end up behind them and are able to guard better. You are standing 10 feet from the box on the floor. I want you to walk at your normal pace to the box, step over the box, and continue walking. And go. So we practice counting down by threes. The patient should perform a normal timed up and go before performing this test. I'm going to say go. I want you to stand up. As you're counting down by threes, walk around the piece of tape on the floor, and then come back and sit down, all while counting down by threes from 93. All right, so start counting down from 93.
93,
Go ahead.
90, 87, 84, 81, 78.
During this test, the patient stood up before I said go. When they came back, they did not keep counting until I said stop. In this clip, I did not state that the patient should walk at their normal pace. Generally speaking, the tests are listed in order from least difficult to most difficult. The TIS is for patients with more severe impairments, while the FGA is for patients with fewer impairments. The Mini BEST and the FGA are both great tools for assessing balance and fall risk. The FGA looks more at balance in relation to gait. It also is unique in the fact that it uses stairs. The Mini BEST test has a few tests looking specifically at balance during gait, but it also looks at anticipatory and reactive postural control and sensory orientation. This outcome measure is best used for assessing someone's risk for falls and also measuring their progress towards their goals.